Which sling is real and which sling is the fake? Hi, I'm Lucy, I run Oxford Sling Library, and one of these carriers I bought brand new from Ergobaby directly, and one of them was a donation, a very kind donation to the library. But as soon as I picked it up, I wondered if it was real or fake. And seeing as I happen to have the exact same one in library stock, I thought this is a good opportunity to walk through the steps I take to determine if a carrier is real or fake and why it may even matter. So the first thing I did is feel the fabric. This fabric feels a little rougher, this feels a little smoother. This carrier is the real one. And I know this because they're so similar, I've had to write my Sling Library inventory number on it so that I can recognise the difference. So I think that's how I knew instantly, is that this fabric felt a bit kind of smoother, this fabric felt a little rougher. Both of them haven't been through the wash, both of them are, well, this may have been through the wash now I think about it, but this carrier is definitely not been through the wash. So it might be that this has just been overwashed though, or washed at all, or washed with fabric conditioner. So I thought, okay, what's next? I checked all the buckles. Everything is identical. I'm going to come to the forward so you can see what I mean. So these two side clips, for example, absolutely identical buckles with the Ergobaby branding on. Each one, if I compare the right side to the right side, is the right way up. Same with the left side to the left side. Absolutely identical. I also did things like I checked the buttons. So the buttons both have Ergobaby written on them in two places. Same on all of the buttons. Sometimes if there are models with buttons here on the forward-facing adjusters, I check that too. I look at things like the branded logos. So the branded logos on the little pocket here look pretty much identical. And I'd look at this main branded logo here. Looks pretty much identical to me. This orange is slightly darker colour than the other one, but otherwise it would be very hard to tell that by eye. This shape is just slightly narrower than the other one. I'd look at these little, what's the word? Oh, menopause brain. Zips is the word. And I'd look at that kind of ammonite shape on there. They look good. Same about the zips on the pocket. So I was genuinely pretty stumped as to whether or not these carriers were both legit. I knew that this one was. This is the one that I bought directly from Ergobaby. This is the donation. So the next step I would do, I'm just going to use one of our posting boxes here and a common set of household scales. Let me just zero it, and I'm going to weigh the weight. So I'm going to check a couple of things. So first, that the detachable pocket is on, that there's nothing in the detachable pocket. This hood that's inside this zip is integrated, so you can't remove that anyway. So I'm confident it's got all of its parts. So pop it in the box and check that that box isn't touching the table at all. The real one weighs 794 grams. And this one that I don't know if it's real or not weighs, let me check that's on zero, yeah. 787 grams. So 7 grams less. This one. Now that's such a small difference. It could just be attributable to manufacturing lots, right? Different batches might have ever so slightly different seam allowances or something like that. And there's no way that that genuinely would have been the reason that I knew it was maybe suspect. Because I mean, I'm good, but I can't detect a 7 gram difference just with 2 arms. And then I realised there is a really obvious clue here. It's the connection strap that goes between the shoulder straps. The real one has no label on it. This one that I don't know if it's real has a large warning label sewn in, which functionally is kind of problematic, right? Because if you needed to tighten that up, it gets caught on that label. So it's definitely not anything I've ever seen on an Ergobaby, and I've been doing this for 6 years now. So that's kind of my biggest warning sign. I checked all the other labels too. There's very small differences between them, but nothing that stands out against other Ergobabys. For example, the warning sign on this one doesn't have orange, this one it does, slightly different font, but there is a little variation on these warning labels between different Ergobabies anyway, so I'm not so worried about that. The sign at the bottom for width apart, pretty much identical. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, I can't see any differences on those. But that is kind of the killer. That does make me think, okay, I'm not 100% sure that's real because I've never seen that on another Ergobaby. It's got a functional problem to it. And it's big and it's ugly and I'm just not sure why it's there. So, what do I do with this now as a sling librarian? Do I use this carrier? So, if I did a carry in it, I would do one of our safety checks. So you can find that on our website, oxfordslinglibrary.co.uk/safety. And I would do a hands check on there and check that it was both comfy and safe. Or a ticks check, that's just on safety. It is a safe carrier. I've put it on, I've used it with a plastic baby. It seems fine, or the seams seem, reliable. I'm not too concerned about it not being safe structurally. My biggest concern is that if I don't know it's a real carrier, I don't know what it's been made from. And more than once I've seen a baby arrive here for a sling library appointment in a carrier that wasn't ours, chewing on this strap and then coming away and having a little dye in their mouth, which kind of, worries me. It's no end. You don't know what the dyes are, you don't know what the fabric is, you don't really know what foam is being used inside it. You don't know if it's clean, you don't know if it's safe. That would be my personal biggest worry about this. I think whether or not my baby is going to fall down, I can control for that, right? I can check those seams, I can see if it feels stable, I can feel the intuitive nature of whether I could take my hands away. But that is a big problem for me, not knowing what it's made of. If this is your carrier, or if you have a carrier and you bought it secondhand and now you're thinking, I don't know if it's real or not, there are things you could do. So potentially you could put some suck pads. You can get them on Etsy, or they do own brand ones as well, right? So you can put some suck pads around these bits that kids chew on, and that could potentially remove some of that risk. You might determine that your kid is just not a chewer, and that's not a big problem. And you might just keep a closer eye on those seams. I would technically recommend you always kind of keep an eye on whether a sling is about to fall apart or not. But if I didn't know the nature of my sling, I would probably be much more cautious about that. I'd be particularly checking whether or not those buckles are sewn in correctly and whether it's all holding together on those waistband straps and shoulder straps. So it could still be a safe carry, is what I'm saying. I'm not going to use it in the sling library because I don't know what it's made of. And I'm just too worried that something might get eaten by a kid that might not be safe. But I will keep it in stock and I will definitely be using it to demonstrate with. It's really, really handy to have something like this to use on Zoom and when I'm supporting people that have their own carrier at home. So it's really, really useful. It will be valuable for the library stock. If you're buying second hand, and this video has made you go, eek, how do I know? So the ultimate check is to ask the seller if they can give you a little screenshot or something of the receipt or the invoice when they bought the sling from Ergobaby, or from a reputable third-party seller. So someone like Slingspot or Love to Be Natural or one of those websites, rather than Vinted or eBay perhaps. I hope this video has been helpful. And yeah, this is going to go back in the library stock. In fact, this is going to go out in the post today on a hire, because that's what made me make this video, realizing that finally I wasn't going to have two comparables right in stock. Anyway, hope this is helpful. Take care. Bye now.